Hey, we're live, I guess. That kind of went faster than I expected. So, good morning. I know it's a little bit unconventional this morning what I was doing, but I thought I would kind of go on live since I was going to be turning something. So we'll see who can join us on a Tuesday morning. There we go. Good. I can move my microphone so you can hear me a little better. So, welcome in, everybody. Please say hi. Let me know that you can hear me. I'd appreciate if somebody can at least say, yes, I can hear you on the chat. If not, I will check my mic. Oh, good. Hi, SK. And Local Remedy. Good to hear from you guys. Thank you for coming in. And this was kind of an off-the-cuff turning today. I wasn't necessarily planning to do it at first, but hey, Bentley, welcome in. And hopefully we can get this turning going, and we'll be fixing up something I started last week and wanted to kind of give you guys a look at. I'll turn my light on here. So what I did last week was I formed this. Well, I'm not sure if this is spalted. I thought this was birch. I had it listed as birch, but it looks a little like spalted pine, or it's playing a little bit like spalted pine or something like that. I guess it could be a spalted elm. Anyway, so I turned it, but I really couldn't get any purchase on the bottom to make a tenon because it was tearing out. It was tearing out here on the bottom side. So what I did is I did a glue attachment here. This is hot glue. So what I did is I made sure I centered it as best I could. Put a faceplate on here. This is my glue plate basically, and I used hot glue, and I go on the inside a little bit, and on the wood itself, and then I go around the edges, and that should be enough to secure this. Cross our fingers. Hot glue is always kind of a temperamental thing. Sometimes it takes it really grabs well, and sometimes it just doesn't. It depends on the quality of the glue, among other things. So I'm going to take this faceplate off. And it's a good little technique. There. Use this faceplate on something next. And move this piece of wood for now. I've got a piece of walnut I want to turn later, possibly. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so what we have here is It's on this flat piece of poplar, basically mounted on a faceplate, and it's going to be not 100% lined up perfectly. I can almost guarantee that. But let's just take a peek and see what it does. Well, it's pretty darn close. If I put this tool rest up to it, I don't see. Well, that is just about as accurately square as I could have made it. So that's good. Okay. So I don't really need the tail piece here. That's just kind of in the way. I tell you, it's handy to have an extra table to put all the stuff that you don't need when you're turning, because it can get in the way. Right. So, what else we got in here, Bentley? We got Marshall. Hey, Marshall. Okay, guys. Well, if you would, I'd appreciate if you'd hit the like button if you could, and we'll be probably getting some other people in here as the time goes by. But we will start and let them catch up. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hollow this out. It's a pretty piece of wood. I'm wondering if this goes in here. So that's the question of the day, so to speak. So I'm going to put my helmet on because I had my helmet on the other day and a piece of bark came flying off and hit me in the face. And that 15-second video has almost 16,000 views after just 4 days. So people like to watch car wreck, right? So let's spin this up, get some speed on it. Okay, let's establish that outer edge first. And you can see my rest is a little bit low. So I need to bring that up just a little bit. Let's see. There's some sound. Whenever I hear chatter, I always worry just a little bit. That can be putting stress on the outside of this thing too also. So I just want to make sure that I'm not coming off here. So I only let that glue dry for a few minutes. So I do want to keep an eye on that at all times and try and avoid any stress. And you know what? This is not quite sure why I'm getting that sound. I think I'm going to just sharpen my blade just a little bit just to make sure it feels sharp, but I could be just missing something on the point there. So give me 20-30 seconds to sharpen this. And that should be just about right. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna have to adjust that just a little bit more. Just bear with me here. I'm resharpening this tool a little bit. And I just want to make sure that I get a good edge on it. Interesting. Check my settings. Okay, that's what it was. Somebody banged my tool rest or tool sharpener and got it a little out of alignment there. I had to double check it there. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting an edge. I apologize, guys. I just want to make sure I've got a nice sharp tool I'm using here. There we go. Now I got that doubled edge on there. A little bit leaner there, a little bit pointed here. That's nice and sharp. Go back to it. Oh yeah, that's cutting better now. There's an old rule for tin turners, or actually for anybody working in the shop. If you think you should sharpen your tool, you probably should have done it 10 minutes earlier. And that's true here also. And now we're making progress. All right. Now we can rise the bevel. Something right there starts chattering, and I'm not sure what it is. It's like a little bit of hard wood right here that causes some chatter, and we are getting to some of that good. The spalting's coming inside. That's good. I want to see that. But there's like hard spots in here, and it's causing the tool to run just a little bit on me. You can hear that. Kind of weird. I don't usually encounter that when I'm turning. Usually when I'm getting a sound like that, it's because there's a crack inside or something. But see, that's kind of like rough. It's not going to take long, I don't think, to go through this bowl. What I'm doing is I'm looking at this side over here so I can see what I'm taking off as I go. And trying to keep it square to the wall as you're turning it. See if I can get you in there a little bit closer. There we go. Is that a better view, guys? What do you think? What am I making? Well, Hassel, I'm going to make a bowl out of this spalted wood. I was trying to see if the spalting was inside. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? SK, good. I'm glad to see you guys getting in here. Please do hit that like button. I'm paying a little more attention to the turning right now than I am to the comments, but please comment amongst yourselves, and I will try and do a running commentary as I go also. This is just a short, this is just mostly a little quick turn. On this particular piece, I wanted to see if I could actually successfully turn this piece of wood because it tears out like this tears out like pine, and as you know, pine is really difficult, especially on the end grain. But I have a friend from our turning group who has some spalted pine that he's going to bring me, so I thought this would be a good time to kind of practice on this piece. See if I could be successful doing that. And we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh yeah, see there's nice color in here to go with the outside. Just a matter of making sure I don't break that glue bond. That's all it's holding this on is some glue. And it's about time to move my tool rest inside. Okay. I think we're going to move the tool rest inside there a little now. It should clears. All right. There we go. Tell you what, guys, I would be interested. Where are you all from? You know, what part of the world are you watching from? Are you all like from parts of Europe or United States or whatever? I know it's kind of midday to mid evening, depending on where you are. Here it's about 9:30 in the morning. And I thought, well, what the hell? Now, one advantage I have on this turning is since I have no tenon either way, I can measure it right down to where the bottom is. And I'm right about here. So I'm getting really near the bottom now. I think I'll use this to kind of just clear it out a little bit. Yeah, I'll probably have to use a smaller one here for the sides here. I always make it a practice when I'm using my scraper to go all the way out or all the way in. Don't stop halfway through and go back, because that's when you get ridges. Now there are some tiny ridges here. I think they will sand out, but I'm going to try and smooth that just a little bit more. I got a little bit better refining scraper right here for the sides. I think I can use it. I'm not quite sure what's bouncing there. I think it's just this. I think that's just that. It's bouncing. Okay. All right. Well, I think we got enough there. Okay. The inside's looking kind of nice. Get a little. Let me kind of clean this up a little bit. What do you think, guys? Netherlands, great. Denmark, Mississippi, Kenya. Boy, we're all over the place. Hi, Anthony. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. Hi, Robert G. Good to see you, or hear you at least, or see of you. Allow me to vacuum here for just a moment, just so I don't have all this in my way. Oh. And this is why you don't let your wife in the shop, because she takes the remote with her. Great. Thank you, honey. Well, allow me a second to find the remote, because my wife shares the shop with me, and she has a tendency to hold things in her hand and then they disappear. And that's kind of what's happened at the moment. And well, I'm not going to make you guys wait. If she didn't lay it down here by her workbench, I'll just, oh, there it is. Aha. Found it. And she's got her labeling on top of it. Wow. Ugh. Okay. Nothing like a 200-pound lathe in your way. Or I'm sorry, not lathe, the scroll saw. My mistake, scroll saw. There. Now I can turn on my vacuum. Get this cleared off. How many of you guys share your shop with your wives or spouses or significant others or your kids, for that matter? Very few of us have a shop just to ourselves, because once you build a shop, they will come. It's sort of like that movie, right? The Field of Dreams. You finally get the shop you want, and everybody wants a piece of it after you've done all the work, right? You've taken a shed or a garage or something and turned it into a workshop with all your tools, and then somebody else wants to be in there with you. And that's okay. I mean, we like being in the shop together and fighting over the radio and seeing who gets to play what. We do that, but we're both in the shop quite often together. Fortunately, this day I asked her to go grocery shopping, and she did. So I had the shop to myself. So, little trick there. Remind your spouse that there's other things that have to be done. and sometimes you can have the place to yourself for a while. Consider that a free tip. Hi, Seba. And I'm in California, yes. I'm in Central California. Same place as 77 Rockets, if you follow him at all. Ryan at 77 Rockets is here. We have Mike at the Whacking Shack. And if you get a chance, you should... Oops, sorry. Here's the Whacking Shack. If you get a chance, you should check him out too. He's got some great videos. In fact, he did a great Sunday live. He does a live Sunday show that was pretty fun. Okay, let's get some sanding going on here. Oops. There we go. I think I'll put my dust collector on. I have a dust collector, I have a vacuum, and I have two air dust collectors. I got one air dust collector, another air dust collector is coming. I also wear my mask. My mask has an air filtering system on it. And yet, for all that, we still end up with a lot of dust in the air. After all that. I'm going to do the outside lawn here again, too. Because this thing keeps sprouting. This is dry wood. It is dry wood. So from that perspective, it's not going to warp or crack on us or anything. There's a little bit of sprouting right there. I'm kind of resigned to the fact that it's not going to be a super smooth bowl by any means. But I think I can get it at least smoother. So we're going to try as best we can, right? Kind of the problem with this sprouting air in grain here is that it kind of gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes you can't even see it, but you can feel it. So since we're all over the world here, actually, Johnny, Mike, the Whacking Shack did a live yesterday, or I'm sorry, on Sunday, and he did another live yesterday. Yeah, he did. But he's getting ready for a craft show. I did a live on Saturday. I usually do one on Thursday. Thursday is my normal day for doing lives, and we will be doing one this Thursday also. I've been doing a lot of cypress, so I thought I'd get away from the cypress, even though it's gorgeous wood. And maybe when I get a little second here, I'll go and show you what that piece of wood looked like. It really came out gorgeous. If you didn't get a chance to see it or look at my shorts, you get a chance to look at it. Okay, use one here. Yeah, I'm going to go in reverse. Slow down just a little bit. Okay. And we'll do the 240 and we'll end with the 240, I think. I think we need to go to 400 on this. Let me go on the outside here again. I can see the little divots in here. Nothing I can do about it, really. I guess I can just keep sanding and sanding until I get it down, but it's a small bowl. I don't think it'll affect it too much over the others. This side nice. There. Okay. I'll just suck a little of that dust out of there. You want to get all that out of there so that you don't have a muddy finish. Please do hit the like button, guys, if you can, while you're in here. Do I do custom work? I have done pieces that people have ordered from me before, but it's not something I normally do. I like to just release my creativity and do it myself, and then I'll sell them at craft shows and so forth. And everybody has their own taste. So we're going to do a little finish in here. Well, pre-finish, I guess is a way of looking at it. This is tung oil. And that's going to bring out some of the color. There you go. And it's just going to suck this up like nothing. It's just going to drink it in. On the edge there. Make sure it gets on the inside. Now we'll go on the outside a little bit more, even though it's already had a couple coats on the outside previous to this. So we will give it a little bit of a finish now. And at first, when you do this with tung oil, you get kind of a dull finish because it's sucking it into the wood. And then as you keep layering it on and layering it on and wiping off the excess, you'll find that as it gets into certain areas where it doesn't soak in anymore, it'll stay on the surface and you can wipe it off. But on other places, it'll keep sucking in. So you kind of want to get it evened out as best you can. And once you got it evened out, there we go. Once you got it evened out, then you can either apply a different type of finish like a shellac or something, or you can leave it as it is. It will be perfectly nice and strong. You can just buff it out, or just put a little paste wax on it of some sort and buff it out. Depends on if you want a high gloss or a medium gloss or just kind of a buffed look. You'll see in there, it's already getting dry. Right to my finger. It's already sucked all that in. What do you think of the color, guys? No, it's not oak. I thought it was birch, but it's turning more like almost like pine. But I'll say birch. It doesn't have all the characteristics of birch, but that's what was written on the wood. So I will go with birch until told differently, because some of this does look like birch. It's birch-like, I guess is what I'd call it. But it could be any number of other species. It is not oak. It was way too easy to turn for one thing, and the one of the things you do notice when you're turning wood is you get different types of curls off the wood. And like walnut, you can always tell walnut, even if it doesn't look like walnut, because when it turns in those little bitty curlicues of wood, and just gives you the impression of walnut. I mean, it just has its own look. Olive the same way. This does look a little bit like olive, but it doesn't smell like olive. Olive has a very distinct olive oil type smell when you're turning. I love it actually. Makes the whole room smell really nice when you turn olive wood. I really like doing olive. So what else is going on here, guys? What are you guys working on? Please hit that like button if you are on here. I would appreciate it. But what are you guys working? I see there's 500 people viewing, so I would hope that I get a few likes. I got 42 likes out of 504 people watching. So if you could certainly double tap the TV, the screen, give it a double tap on the screen there, or give me a like with on the like button. I would really appreciate it. And check out some of these other guys' sites too. Johnny's Lathe. Johnny has some really good videos. He does some great work. And Robert, are we going to see something from you soon? And Johnny's Latecraft, if you want to put your channel site on there, go right ahead. I don't think it's Tamarind because it was found locally, as far as I know. I didn't buy this wood. I almost never buy wood. I suppose it could be, but we don't usually grow that around here. We're a farming belt. We grow a lot of walnut and a lot of oak and olive and fruit trees. I get tons of fruit tree wood, plum, apricot. We are kind of the this is kind of the growth area for the entire world. We feed the world with pistachios and almonds and walnuts and raisins. Raisin capital of the world is around here. Table grapes. So here's what the bowl looks like. It's just had a couple of. And look at that. I just painted that on and it's already dry. That's how fast that is sucking that in. Literally, as fast as I'm pouring it on here, it's disappearing. Yeah, I'm going to pour that in there. You're supposed to wait about 20 minutes in between coats, but it's just sucking it in and it's just going away. So I don't want to create a froth here, but I will put one more coat on there and another coat on the outside because it seems to be sucking it in there still too. It's already dry inside again. Just that fast. Man, I could go through a lot of tongue oil just trying to treat this piece. It's just really taking it in good. Well, that's good. You want dry wood. You want a piece of wood to suck it up because what it does is tongue oil goes inside and dries and hardens inside the fibers. So it'll make for a nice, strong bowl for many years. Here. It's not a fancy bowl or anything, but it does have a lot of nice coloring to it. And I think somebody will pick it up just because of all that. And I'm sure they'll buy it. What I have to do is after this has had a chance to dry for a little while, and see it's already drying on the bottom again. Just sucking it in. But as soon as this gets dried off for probably 24 hours, I will take the bottom off. I'll take a heat gun to this to release the glue, and then we'll scrape the glue off, put on a sander to kind of sand off anything that's left, and then we'll finish the bottom, and this will be up for sale. But I think that was a success. Came out much better than I thought, actually. when I was doing it the other day. I wasn't quite sure. And you know what? I'm going to ask you to hang on for just 1 second. I will be back in like 20 seconds, okay? Just, I got to grab something here. You're hearing me walk to the other room, actually. And I'm going to get this bowl that I turned the other day, just so you can see how the final product came out. Here we are. This is the cypress bowl I turned the other day. And I'll pull back just a little bit. Okay, this is the cypress bowl I turned. And you can see I got a nice gloss finish on it. It's got some really beautiful character to it. That's how that one turned out. Kind of a bell shape. Kind of looks like a bell. But I think this is going to be real good. I may have to do one more coat. I'm not sure. I don't think I do, but feels really nice. It's nice. It's a nice weight. It's not too heavy. And so that was the result of the one from the other day. Put these out of the way. Okay. Yeah, it has a lot going on. It was going, kind of turning all over the place. Yeah, that's the thing about tamarind is great wood. You got to be careful with it, but it's a nice wood. But it is the spalting you have to be careful of. Anytime you have spalting, remember that's a mold. That's a mold basically, and you do need to be careful of what could happen. So I thought we'd do this smaller walnut bowl today. And I have to kind of make sure I'm in the middle of this. See which way do I want to go. Guess it doesn't really matter. I'll do this side. And since I got a hole right there where I started from, I'll use that as my centerpiece. All right. And we'll, I think because it's heavy, I think I'll use this bigger one here. I think I'll use this bigger one because that's a little bit of a small faceplate for something like that. Let me get drill a little bitty hole in here, the center. Oops, there we go. And I like using face plates. I know some guys don't. They like using the screw nut that comes with your chuck, and that's absolutely fine. It doesn't seem to work as well for me, so I tend not to use it as much because I've had it come out on me, and I know that's. So they say, "Oh, it never does that." Well, it does, and it has, and that's not something I enjoy having done. So that side, we'll do this side. Okay. And I'll do one here. That was my fault. Went at a little bit of an angle. And this one, please, if you're watching, please feel to get in the comments section there. Join the conversation, and tell us what's going on in your lives. I'd like to know. I'm going to go a little bit deeper with this one. There we go. There we are. Good. That's going to be on nice and snug. Good. Get these drills out of the way. The drill I use for driving those screws is a really cheap Harbor Freight model. I don't use my expensive drills for anything like that. I save my expensive drills for doing expensive things. I'm going to take this this tool rest out of here. And change it out. In fact, I have a really cool one. I think I'd like to try it just to see how it works. I got this one the other day. And what's especially neat about this particular one is that these can be unscrewed and a different size put on. The post stays in place, and you just change the size of your tool rest. And I kind of think that's kind of cool. It here's don't want to be hitting anything. There we go. But yeah, I kind of like that. It's a nice big steel bar, and it can withstand the weight. But the nice thing is like I said, you can adjust. You can put other tool bars on here without having to change. It's a lot quicker change. My only question, of course, is whether it starts to unscrew itself. That would be a problem, but I haven't seen that happen yet. Hi, Patrick. Hey, sorry, Johnny, you had to go to lunch, but or off your lunch break. But well, thanks for coming in, and Robert, if you're going to stick around for a while, I'd appreciate it. Let's turn this up. Okay, gonna start playing here. Yeah, it's gonna happen first. There. That's already rounding out pretty easily. And you can see underneath all this gray, it actually is walnut. Now what I got to worry about is all these cracks. I hope these cracks don't go too deep, or we'll be dealing with them for through the whole turning here. So cross your fingers on that. There. All right, I'm starting to show it who's boss. So far it's boss, but we're getting there. That's only 2 times across. A little bit higher on this side than the other side. Okay. You can pick up the speed just a little bit more. Okay, let's see where we stand. So throwing a lot of dust, a lot of chips everywhere. A little bit more on this side, almost getting on that side. This side's going to be a little bit deeper, so we are going to be a little bit more in before we get to anything. Then we got to decide on shape. I was thinking of coming up like this, but we'll see. We'll see. We also got to take out some of this in the bottom. In fact, you know what? I think I'll take some of this out on the bottom right now. All right, let's see if I can do this. Okay, now I can lower the rest. Everybody remember that this is walnut. Yep. Got to be cognizant of keeping that tightened in. Okay, there we go. Ah, okay, because of that ridge. Okay, that's what I'm hitting. All right, I wasn't sure. All right, so we got to go below that ridge. check on the floor. Okay. See how close we are to a flat surface now. Oh, it's a little bit caved in the middle. That's okay. I'm going to be taking a little bit of this off anyway, so we'll flatten that out, and we'll go from there. There we go. Now we got a good flat surface. Okay. And then there's a little scraper over that, and that's nice and ready to go. Okay. Good. Yeah, nice and flat. Okay. We'll put a tenon on that later. And I want to make sure I get my sides formed up first. But now I got a flat place to work from. I got a better idea on the angles here. Still not quite getting there. Looks like I got a like a wormhole there too. Okay, Wolf of Wall Street. Well, you know what? I wish I'd have paid a little more attention in my finance classes. I did business school. I did business. I should have said did business in college. And of all things, because I had an aptitude for it, I became a tutor in the accounting department. And I was tutoring second year accounting students, even though I was in first year accounting. And hey, tutoring jobs help pay the bills, you know, in your college. And yet I never became an accountant per se, but I did become a corporate training instructor, and I taught hundreds of seminars in management training, and one of that was writing an 8-hour course on reading profit and loss statements. So all that schooling came in handy for that. But if you want something hard, try doing a stand-up lecture, 2 days, 4 hours a day on profit and loss statements, and try and make it fun and interesting. That's the challenge. But I got very high marks from my students about it, so I guess I was okay with it. And I went on to write a lot of training programs. And helped the gentleman start his own human resource company, and we grew it to a company that was handling people in about 15 states by the time I left. And to this day, they still call me as a consultant. But now I'm a consultant on the legal side of labor and human resource issues. But actually, I'm retired. It's kind of nice when you retire and your phone still rings and people still want you for something. That's, got to say, that actually does make you feel pretty good. But this is where I like to spend my time now. In here, I don't have to deal with the state of California and some of their laws and all that stuff. I can just work on my wood. Yes, it's walnut. Oh, hey, Mike, I didn't see you in here. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, double tap the screen, guys. We had 500 people in here for a while, and only 47 likes. What do we got now? We got like 100 and, is that 130 likes? 100 likes? Anyway, I'd like to get to 200 likes today if we can. So if you can help us get there, that would be great. Be part of the crowd that set that up. I would be most appreciative. We're getting close to 2,000 subscribers. And once we start getting some few more subscribers, we might even set up a separate, I don't know if I want to do it yet, but set up a separate members section with some extra little prizes. Maybe ship out a few of these bowls that I turn to people. Have to consider how we want to do that. But right now we're just trying to grow the channel. Still got a flat spot here. That's the only flat spot now. So we're getting it down. Now I need to kind of put a shape to this, I think. The walnut's going to look beautiful, but I think I need to put some sort of shape to this. Let's see. I can't really round it down. That's not really going to look great. I could make an hourglass shape to it, but that's kind of funky looking. It doesn't always work. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys have any opinions here? Hey, Habib. If you guys have any opinions here, let me know what you think. This is my chance to make an adjustment. I can put a lip on here. I can curl it under. I can even do a sway to it. if you want. That'd probably be the easiest thing to do from here because I got to take out that. Well, I got to take out that flat spot first, though. So that's going to take a big chunk of this top. Now, what do you think? Anybody? You got an opinion? Now's your chance to jump in there and have your voice heard. But if not, I'm gonna go on my own. I gotta take this little edge off here. Like to watch ribbons. Like to watch ribbons. You know what? Maybe this is what I'll do. Let's try this. Okay. I've established that. Now let's see if I can establish this a little better. Okay. Now we can come down here and just kind of smooth this off. That way I don't have to lose things. Yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of cracks, and I'm going to have to deal with those before we go too much further. But that's kind of the design I think I'm looking at here. I'll go ahead and fix these cracks, and I'll probably make this a little bit more pronounced on the bottom. And I think that's how we're going to go. Then we're going to have to hollow out that inside, and that's going to be a lot of work. But let's get a little glue going in here, a little glue work, and work some of our magic we like to do to make this go away. That on there. We'll go with the other cracks for now. We'll come back to that. I really don't like this crack at all. It comes up on the lip. And those are always dangerous because they always tend to break off right when you don't want them to. Right when you don't want them to. I'm going to fill all these little cracks with some wood glue. Including this one here. And these are all just little stress cracks. They're not dangerous in themselves, but they can make it really hard to get a good finish. And they can also catch your tool at the wrong time, even when you're being careful. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And you see how that crack sort of goes away? Right? You go across the grain of the crack best you can. Don't go with the crack, you go across the grain of the crack. And we don't seem to have any over on this side. It's all on this side here, interestingly enough. Okay. Okay, I'm going to let that kind of dry up for just a minute or two. Yeah. What do you got going here? Hi, Vilmos. Let's see. I gotta figure out how the end with the mounting piece becomes the top. I will have to stay and learn. Yes, well, that's going to be pretty simple. What we do is we create a recessed tenon, and you can do two kinds of tenon. You can do a tenon that sticks out, okay, and then you take your chuck, which I dropped on the floor earlier. You can take your chuck, and your chuck would attach to that tenon from this side, and that's how you would mount it. Now, what I like to do is what they call a recessed tenon, which means I'm making a hole in here about a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch deep, about that much. And these little fingers here are going to hold on to that. It's going to spread out and hold on to that and hold that in place while I turn the inside. Believe it or not, that's all it really takes to hold your wood. Now, this is walnut. It should be strong enough to be able to hold that. And we're going to cross our fingers a little bit because mortise holds are not as good as the screw-on holds that I've got on it right now. That's why I can do a lot of roughing out and take all the sharp edges off and do a lot of work on it now. A little bit more on here. I can do that now because it's held in with screws on the other side, on this side on the faceplate. So once I get even a little piece right there, the more you stare at this, the more you find little cracks. And I'd like to make them go away as much as I can. Okay. So, all right, while that is drying, we will work on that tenon that you were just talking about. Okay? So, the way we do that is we want to get the same size as this, and you want this to be, you want this to make a perfect circle. And I've done this in some of my videos. If you look on my channel, there's a lot of videos of this. But when you close this all the way up, that is not a perfect circle. Because what they do is they take a solid piece of metal and they saw this way and they saw this way. So what you're seeing is the kerf space where the saw went through. So this is actually a little bit more towards circular than it is until all the way closed up. Okay? So my job is to make it as close to as possible so I have the most contact with the chuck jaws as I can. So we'll show you that right now. Okay, it's kind of a two-part process. First, I'm going to establish that outer edge. And I know it's going to be wider than this, but that's okay. This is just to kind of establish. Okay. Now, oops, wrong tool, this one. This is my favorite for this. That's probably a little too small still. Yes, it is. Okay. Just wanted to double check myself. It's easier to make it bigger than it is to try and make it smaller once you're taking the wood off. Okay. We are right there. Okay. Let me I close that all the way up. It is barely fitting in. Okay. So now the key here is I'm going to raise this up just a bit. There we go. The key here is you want to, if you take off this amount here, remember that's double the amount because you figure the other side. So you want to take off a very little bit because you're actually doubling whatever you take off here. I take off that little 30 seconds of an inch. Okay, that's actually taking off plenty. I can now put this in there. So that is our piece. Now, I will sand this out a little bit. Make sure that it's nice and clean at the bottom of it. There we go. Now we have a pretty nice clean bottom. Okay. I'll very carefully get that and clean out any of that dirt, because see that dirt there can keep you from getting a good connection. So we'll make sure all that's out of there. All right, so hope that answers your question on that. So now we're going to come around here and we're going to do some final turning on this on the outside. Then we will shape it up and we'll be able to do the inside. Okay? So 154 of you, I hope you're still hitting the like button. I can appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That way you'll know when we're doing our lives. And we do a live every Thursday, although I know today is Tuesday. We do some other lives during the week sometimes, and you'll be notified about all of them if you're a subscriber. Definitely come back to the Thursday show. That's our big one. Now see there? See how those cracks disappeared? I'm going to bring you in on this. Those cracks are basically removed. They're still there, and they're going to be there a little bit, but look how much they disappeared just from that little work. And if we'd have let the glue dry a little bit longer, they probably would have done even a little bit better job. But I'm kind of speeding up the process a little bit for all of you, so you're not just standing here watching me glue things. Okay. Now I'm going to try and do a little cleanup here. Okay. And that's almost shiny. It's nice and smooth there. Now we'll get the rest of that with the sanding, but just kind of wanted to get that worked out a little bit. Okay. So we're going to switch to sanding mode. Grab a little drink here while I'm at it. Okay, we're up to 146 likes. I'd like to get to 200 if we can. So if you have the ability, if you haven't liked this yet, please do so. That area, this end grain is going to be where the tough sanding comes in. Still like to see more comments in the comment section there, folks, if you have anything to say. And in fact, if any of you have a YouTube channel and you'd like to post it here, I have no problem with that, as long as it's legit. So, Susan, did I answer your question? I hope on how this tenon works. You get to see more of it in just a minute when we get these when we get done with the sanding. And I hope I was answering your question properly. Boy, trying to get this sanded up sometimes is really hard. Just little imperfections that just don't like to come out. And once you put the sand, the oil or sealer on here, it really starts to show up. So I'm trying to get as many of them as I can see now before I start attaching the sealer to this. Okay. We'll switch to our next speed here. We'll go to 120. trying to go in a circular pattern so as not to create any streaks in the wood. But what's funny about wood is no matter how much you're trying to just nicely trim it, you'll get these lines. See these lines? No matter what you're doing. You know, I'm not spinning and I'm not doing anything unusual with it, but I'm getting these lines. Because there are soft and hard parts to the wood, and this is what happens. Some of it kind of gets polished, and some of it cuts away, and it leaves looking like streaks. And it can make it look kind of ugly because you can actually almost feel that little ripple there. See, I'm not doing anything here that causes a streak. But it's still going to do it, no matter what I try and do. So I could take this and I could spin it up to a really high speed. Say I have that at like 1500, and I'm spinning this, and it's going to polish it. And it's also going to leave those same streaks. I'm moving very slow and deliberately. See? See the streaks across here? Even though I was very careful with it, you still get that. And bring them in there, you can see the streaks in the wood. Kind of the weird thing of the phenomenon of some of these woods that this happens. Oh, this is very, very smooth finish right now. It feels very nice. Even though it looks kind of ugly with all those lines in it. And I will be going back and working on that later. We don't have to work on that right now. Oops, sorry. Did not mean to hit the camera. Okay, so let's put this on here. Start putting this on here. Here we go. Earlier we had a gentleman on from Kenya. I don't know if you're still on here, sir, but if you are, it's got to be pretty late in Kenya, I would think. Pretty late in the evening at this point. Perhaps I'm wrong, but Just guessing here, but I think I was catching you pretty late in the evening. And like I said before, this will get into the wood, and this will strengthen the wood a little bit. Starts to bring out a little bit of that walnut in the wood. Walnut's kind of a unique wood in the sense that it actually can have a lot of different colors. The trunk can be completely different than the arms, than the branches of the tree. I'm going to go ahead and paint a little in here. There we go. This kind of has a little bit more of the gold. This is not the black walnut. This is a regular light or English type walnut. A lot of the walnut around here is getting attacked by a beetle, and it's basically starting to wipe out some of the older trees that did not have the resistance that some of the newer stock has. So we may not have much black walnut, at least not the old black walnut anymore. It's becoming kind of rare around here, and I guess in other parts of the world too. They're having a problem with that. And walnut's been around for 100,000 years or more, probably. So there's one coat. What do you think? Anyone got a comment there? Hey, Costel. Again, if you guys have any comments, please put them in here so we can have a conversation going on. Hey, Country Carpenter, how you doing? What do you think of the walnut? You like this color? It really sucks it up pretty fast. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, it's going to take a few coats, and it's interesting here, but it's going to take a few coats to make it look really presentable. But this is just the first coat, just to kind of get it going and harden up the wood just a little bit so we can turn it around. So I know Susan was asking about that earlier. I hope Susan's still with us. If you are, Susan, you can watch now, and we'll show you how we go about doing this. Gonna have to use the wrench. Oops, that was on there. That was on there pretty strong. There we go. There we are. Sometimes a force of all that spinning and beating tends to lock it down just a little bit. So we'll take these off and turn it around, and hopefully we can start on the other side here. One. Whoops. There we go. Whoa, some of those screws get a little hot coming back out. That friction is pretty strong, especially on these long ones. Always use stainless steel screws, always, because their heads won't snap off on you. Nothing worse than having that head snap off in the wood, and you're trying to get this off, because you'll be digging in those holes and drilling holes around it and everything else you can to try and get in there to get that screw out. And screws don't like to come out once they go in, so fair warning on that. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here before we go on, just to see where we are at. And let that finish dry just a hair. Well, I'll tell you, that walnut flew every place. It really did. Oh, there you go. Hi, Michael. I'm glad you're in and out. That helps. Everybody, check out Michael's. Michael, you're listed as board on here, so whatever that is, we couldn't figure out from the other day. But check out Michael's channel. He's starting to add new videos, slow but surely. We've been urging him for months to do it, and finally doing it. Okay. There. And get some of this out from under my feet, too. It's amazing how much sawdust you can make just turning the outside of a small bowl. This floor is covered in about 2 inches of wood shavings at this point. And I'm kind of doing just a quick once over right now, just so I can stand and not slip around in it. I just probably got the equivalent of about 2 gallons of wood chips up in this short little amount of time. So if you're going to be a wood turner, understand it's not going to be it's not going to be an easy, quick, clean thing. You spend about half your time cleaning up after yourself. Preparing the wood, cleaning up after yourself. The wood turning itself is only probably about 20-25% of the entire project. Phew. Hey Rob, still no, can't share the channel either. I don't know why you lost your wrench, but let me go in there right now and see. While I'm thinking about it, okay? Come on. Let's see. Add as moderator. Somehow it took you off as moderator. Oh no, it didn't. Now it's moved again. Come on. Just add as moderator. There we go. Managing moderator. There we go. Okay, Michael, you are managing moderator now. So there you go. I have no idea. I don't know if something accidentally triggered you as being an unsavory person. I don't know how YouTube would have known that. Um, I mean, I'm not denying that it could be true, but unsavory or not, but somehow you got taken off as a moderator. I'm not sure why, but you are managing moderator again. So manage away, Michael. Okay, this is for Susan out there. She wanted to know how we attach it, so that's how we attach it. Just that simple into that little thing we built. That's a little bit wobbly, so I'm going to see what's going on. Sometimes there's a little dirt in there or something. That's clean. Make sure these are clean too, because these can cause part of the problem. Make sure there's no excess dirt in there. Let me go get a nylon brush real quick. Just got to grab one right here. Or brass brush. Just want to make sure that this is nice and clean too. So we get the best grip we can. Because there is a buildup of finishes and other things that get in there. I've had this chuck for a lot of years. Probably due for some maintenance on my part. And maintenance is not easy on these chucks because you got to get in there and take them apart and make sure you don't have any leftover tools or pieces when you're done, I should say. It's kind of important that they all go in their place. Now let's see what it does. It's still a little bit rough. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get. Okay, well, it's not always going to be 100% lined up. It should be, but sometimes the wood changes on you just a little bit, and that's okay. I think for now I'm going to go ahead and take this out because I'm going to be switching to my other rest here for now. Out there. Like that. And my wife is back from shopping. Rats! I didn't send her for enough. Thank you. You gonna be coming in? You gonna be coming in?
A little while.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to sharpen this up just a little more before we go further. And bear with me here. Ooh, that was not good. There we go. I always like to get a little tune-up on the before we go inside. This M42 steel is wonderful stuff. It holds a sharp edge, and there we go. Holds a sharp edge, and it really takes a long time to have to resharpen it. But you got to make sure you do sharpen it. A dull blade can cause all sorts of trouble. All right, helmet on. Let's get at this thing. And please hit that like button. We're at, 148? We need to get to 200. And I'd like to see some more in there if you can. I'm going to go very lightly. Get this kind of squared away. Because it is a little out of square. Okay. Just going to check my connection here, make sure I'm tight. Okay, it's coming loose. See if I'm about the right spot here. See, it's going to be a little bit off here, but that's what's bothering me just a bit. So I'm going to come across and smooth that out. And go in. Look what we're making, huh? The characteristic ringlets of a nice sharp tool and nice solid wood. One of the things you always want to do is you're writing the bevel down. Carry this out a little bit. As you're writing the bevel down here, and you turn in, notice that this is pointed up and out that way. The actual cutting surface, what's actually cutting here, is mostly right there on that part of the blade. Okay. And I'm going to just go across this kind of got a little thick there, so I'm going to come back across it a couple times. Now we can come across with it. As we get closer to the middle, instead of being up like this, we turn more towards the center. And that takes us right into the center. Okay. Now, I think I can go a little bit faster and get past this. I also think I can fix this a little bit too. To me, this is one of the scarier parts of the turning because this is where you're setting everything up. You're finding out if your miter is going to hold. And you're trying to smooth out any little idiosyncrasies in the wood, like the screw holes. You're setting your side walls. There's a lot of things that can go wrong right in this part. That's why I like to come in here very slowly. Get those nice curls going. Okay. You see, this is very smooth wood. It's a little bit plain inside, but it's coming out very smoothly. We're starting to get some depth in here now. So, again, if you can hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, you like those ribbons, Robert? Got to design a logo, huh? Yeah, Robert's got. I'm sure Robert's got a pretty good shop. So do a lot of us, actually. Yeah, but it's what you like to do in the shop, you know. It's what pays the bills, but also what gives you pleasure when you're doing things. That's why I like turning wood, because it's like finding a treasure. You see a piece of wood, you don't know what it's going to look like inside, and then you try and bring something out of it, even if it's an ugly piece of wood, and you make it look beautiful. You know, I mean, this was a gray piece of wood on the that basically been sitting around for a number of years. And no telling how old this piece of walnut is, but I know that Perry, the guy who gave it to me, had it around his house for a long time, and his house got burned by arson. His whole shop, he lost everything in his shop, everything. A couple years ago, it's taken like 2-3 years to get everything back and rebuilt. He's just now getting back in his shop, and Perry's not a young guy; he's in his 80s. So I'm guessing that he had this wood around for quite a while. And it may have fallen a long time before that. I'll make a few more ribbons for Robert there. And that's something? Those are really nice. I kind of wish there was something you could do with those, but I've never figured out anything to do with it other than using it to maybe burnish the outside of a turning or something. But that has limited results, quite honestly. I've done it. I don't think that it really adds anything much to what you're doing. It could be just a personal opinion. But if I took a handful of this and turn this on, I don't think it's really doing it. It's probably on a very minor, fine surface kind of way. You might be burnishing the wood just a little bit, but I'm not sure that it really does much. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, that's just my own personal thing. Oh, and we did lose a piece again. Remember I told you I was worried about those cracks and those things doing that? So for now I'm going to leave it, but I have a feeling we'll probably have to go back and do that. And it was nothing snagged when I was turning. It just came off. So no telling where it is. But this is what happens with those lips. So you got to make sure that your lip is really strong before you start going inside. Oops. think I might need to go back and sharpen up just a little bit. And then maybe we can kick up the speed up just a hair too. And we'll sharpen this up just a little bit. Meantime, am I missing anything over here? Yeah, good packing for shipping, you're right. AI generated logos. Yeah, I got a pretty crappy logo myself, quite honestly. It's kind of hard to read. When I did mine, I was just kind of trying to get something done real quick so I could set up my page, because you really couldn't set up your page until you had some sort of logo or something. It's kind of the first step. I'm kind of a late adopter to AI. I like to think that I'm smart enough I don't need it. In fact, I used to have a shirt that the people in my office gave me. It says, "I don't need Google, I am Google." Because they used to come to me all the time with any questions that they had. And I'd usually give them a better answer than Google would. But we all have to change with the times. First computer I worked on was in 1968. So I've seen a lot of changes in computers over the years. In fact, my high school is one of the first high schools in the state of California to be granted to get its own computer. We were on a modem link of sorts back in 1968, and we were sharing the same computer lines. Well, somehow with the Los Angeles International Airport. One day the lines got crossed, and our tic-tac-toe game, I think, was going to the Los Angeles International Airport, because the airport's information was coming to our printer at our high school in San Diego. So that caused a little bit of discussion. So after that, we got one of the very first Hewlett-Packard computers. It was a mainframe. It was pretty big. It would fill up this entire table area and desk area, and probably about 6 feet by 6 feet, maybe. Had flashing lights, even though our computer science teacher told us that computers are not a bunch of shiny, sparkling lights. The first thing we got was a computer with a bunch of sparkling lights. So right away, I knew this was going to be an interesting thing to be in. When the instructors were as surprised as we were. We all got to learn together. Yeah, that's coming along. I think I'll just leave that. It's just a detail. And we are about here. We got to start making some real headway. And that's kind of, and something like this, that's just kind of the tediousness of it a little bit, is you have to get in there and just keep grinding away. over and over and over again, back and forth. You don't want to get too excited. If you're taking away more than 1/8 of an inch at a time, probably thinking too much. Let's see where we stand here. We are, yeah, just about in the middle. Just maybe right about the middle. Maybe a little bit more. Readjust my tool rest here again. Stay tuned because it can always fly off at any minute. For you NASCAR fans out there, I could always just accidentally push it too far and this whole thing comes flying off and hits the wall, or me, or both. So there's always that. All right. I'm going to shape up the side just a little bit before I go any further. Smooth it out a little. Well, a little bit keeps coming off more, doesn't it? Okay. That's nice and smooth on the sides. Excuse me while I get a little drink. Okay. Okay, guys, let's keep pushing the like button if you can. We're up to 156, but there's only 33 people watching at the moment. So if you haven't seen it already, please hit that like button and or subscribe if you can, or give us a comment. And we've lost quite a bit of the crowd. I was really hoping to get 200 likes here in 2 hours, but didn't quite make it. about getting more of the bowl done here, so I'll get the light down in there a little better for me. A lot of curl staying in there when I was doing that one. Let's keep cleaning this out. What I'm trying to do is make sure this isn't going in too much. I know there's a natural incline in the wood on the outside, but I want to kind of keep it as large as I can on the inside. Yeah, we're getting down near the end now. Okay. We're going to use our big one here. Go in here and Okay. And I think I can get a little bit more at the sides here. Here's a smaller one. Okay, good. I think we got it. I think we got it. I'm going to take a big couple handfuls of this, put it over here. Trash can. A lot of pearls. More than I care to just vacuum up. Wow. And a barrel full in the inside of that bowl. Okay. Well, we got this. I think I'm going to leave it. I can vacuum it out and sand it out. We'll see what we can do with this. I'm going to put a new 80 grit piece on. And a new 120 grit piece on also. I think they need changing. So here's my 80 grit. Turn this on. There we go. That's nice. Okay. We're going to do 240. I'm going to switch this one out also. I think it's getting a little warm. And you don't want to outwear your grits here. There we go. All right, now we'll go down to the 240 grit, 122, 240. All right, that's good. All right, home stretch. Home stretch, guys. We're gonna still 54 of you in here. Please hit the like button if you can. Really like to get to 200 if I can make it, but I don't know if we will. I'm gonna vacuum out the inside of this. I'm gonna put some finish on it. Okay. Hi, Tom. Yeah, bull is born. Let me turn this off here. You don't need that yelling in the background now. Now I do have a crack down in here, but that's okay. We're gonna get some this tongue oil in there. That'll be just fine. Get that in there. Brush it up good. All right. Brush that in. Get it all brushed in at least once, and then we'll see what it starts to look like after that. Okay, everything's got a little oil on it. This end grain always sucks in more of it. It is starting to bring out some of the beautiful color in there instead of that gray wood that it started out as. It's got some ways to go here on the outside. I'm going to have to do some more heavy duty sanding on that to get some of that to brighten up a little bit. But I won't do that with you right now. I'll probably do that over the next couple of days and maybe show it on one of the lives later on what it looks like as a finished product. But yeah, you can see how that's looking now. Okay, we got 83 people in here now. Please hit that like button or double tap your screen. That would really be helpful. Would really appreciate any comments that you have here. So, Tom, where are you about? Where are you from? What part of the world are you watching us in? I'll wait for that to come up. Do a little second coat here. As you can see, that little 1/8 inch miter helped miter tenon or inside tenon or whatever you want to call it held just fine while we took out all of that wood out of this big piece of walnut. So it doesn't have to be a large tenon or a large recess in this case to hold properly if it is made properly. I keep preaching that. Now this does have kind of a plain bottom on it, so I'll take the hit for that. I could have made it a little bit fancier bottom, but this was just a demonstration piece, really. I wanted to see how it would come out. I'm going to let that soak in for a couple minutes. Yeah, it does have some. Hey, Ryan, how you doing, Ryan? Must be lunch break for you. There's a piece of walnut that I was just turning. I show you the one I did earlier. Here, this is a spalted pine that I did earlier. I haven't taken it off of its glue mount yet, but this is the one I did earlier today, and it's kind of nice. And so I'll be finishing this up. I have to take the glue off and get it all cleaned up and all. And then this is the one from last week that I finally got finished. Um, Finished putting the gloss finish on. Although I think I might need one more coat, but you can see this one. So we've been turning some pretty wood lately, and again, anybody that's out there that wants to hit the like button, I'd still appreciate that. I'm going to let this one just dry in there a little bit. It's already got dry spots again. I'll probably go around and just wipe the rest of that excess off here in just a minute and see what he got. Folks, if you haven't checked him out, check out 77 Rockets Woodworking. He does some great. Yeah, I'm almost to 2,000 subs. Thank you. Yes, I know I'm getting close. But Ryan's getting really close to his 5,000 goal. And he's been turning some really interesting resin pieces now. He's doing a lot of pens, and I think he's going to be doing some resin bowls here pretty soon. So check out 77 Rockets Woodworking. Ryan, when's your next live going to be? Do you know yet? Let's see. This in there. We'll kind of polish that up a little bit for now, and we'll call this one done. Oh, I'm sorry, 30,000. I didn't mean 5,000. I meant 30,000. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of Mike. 30,000. Yes, 30,000. Going to 50,000 subscribers, not 5,000. 50,000 subscribers. Where he's headed. Been a long morning. My mouth got in front of my brain. But 77 Rockets, Woodworking, and Whacking Shack, Bearded Viking, Timber Designs. A lot of those are in my description section here, so you can check them out from there. Tom, I hope you like this. You were watching. I may go back and go a little bit deeper. I don't know. I think I've got it just about right, but what do you think? I think I might go back and just make this a little bit deeper. Now I've got it off the check, because I think I'm right here. I could probably go down to here inside. I'll ponder this a little bit, but I may, like on Thursday, go back and refinish that a little bit more. But for now, there we are. You can see the wood grain. It's not a most spectacular piece of walnut. just kind of plain in a sense. But when you consider it started, here's one of its cousins. It started off looking like this. That's what it started at, and this is what it ended up as. So you can see that there's quite a difference between the way they start and the way they end up. So anyway, I really appreciate everybody being here today, and 50K by the end of the year, huh? Oh, you're going to be live on your Patreon account tonight, and are you going to be on YouTube on like Friday or something? Saturday? Not sure yet. I know we got to get Michael and we got to get Robert here doing some turnings or some woodworking lives. Broaden the group out a little bit. But I do appreciate. I'm sorry, but I do appreciate both of you guys being here, and everybody else that was watching today. I'm gonna be ending this soon so that I can let my wife come in here and do her thing, because she's got a lot of those nativities still to do that she is working on in stars. She's got about half of them cut out, and she's got another half to go, and she's trying to get them all done. So, okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming in. I do appreciate it a lot, and we will see you on Thursday at our normal time. And talk to you all soon. Thank you.